Okay, so magandang araw sa inyong lahat. So welcome sa unang episode ng Rizal Beyond the Monuments. So it is a podcast where we revisit the life of our national hero through a new lens. So I'm Mark.
I'm Jimuel.
Jose here.
Hello, I'm Aliza.
And I'm Ollie. And today, pag-uusapan natin ang Noli Me Tangere. Paano ito sinulat? Ano ang epekto nito? At bakit ito naging turning point sa kaysaysayan ng Pilipinas?
So let's start with the basic. So Rizal was just 23 to 24 years old when he finished Noli Me Tangere. He was living in Europe, specifically in Spain.
Ang layo, no? Pero kahit nasa ibang bansa siya, ang puso niya ay nasa Pilipinas. Nakikita niya yung mga injustices sa bansa, oppression ng mga praile, kahirapan, corruption, and he wanted to expose it.
He said it himself. I want to awaken my countrymen. Kaya hindi lang ito nobela. It was his form of protest.
Pero risky eh. Kasi kahit fictional yung characters like Ibarra, Maria Clara, at Padre Damaso, obvious talaga kung sino ang pinatatamaan.
Totoo. And sa totoo lang, Noli almost didn't get published. Kulang siya sa pondo. That's when his friends like Maximo Viola stepped in para pondohan ang printing.
Imagine mo yun, writing something na alam niyang pwedeng magbunsod ng galit mula sa powerful people, pero ginawa pa rin niya.
Oo nga eh. And the backlash was real. Rizal was labeled as subversive. Tinanggalan ng support ang pamilya niya. Some say that's when the danger really started for him.
But at the same time, it opened the eyes of the Filipino people. So it was the first time a Filipino publicly criticized the church and the colonial system that way.
Kaya nga Noli Me Tangere became more than a book. Parang wake-up call na siya eh.
May tanong ako. If Noli was the spark, was Rizal ready for the fire it started?
Honestly, I think Rizal made the right choice. If he picked up Abolo, baka hindi siya naging Rizal. Baka yung strength niya was in awakening minds, not leading armies.
True, pero hindi mo pipigilan ang mga tao kapag naliwanagan na sila eh. Kaya siguro kahit si Bonifacio na-inspire ng Noli.
That's why Noli and Enfili are still required reading today. They're not just literary works, they're tools to understand our roots, our struggles.
At reminder din minsan, the pen really is mightier than the sword.
Kaya dapat, hindi lang natin tinatandaan si Rizal every June 19 or December 30. Let's actually read his work, reflect, and ask, are we still fighting the same battles today?
What a powerful insights! And that wraps our first episode.
Next time, we'll take you to a different chapter. Rizal's exile in Dapitan. An exile, yes, pero hindi siya tumigil sa paglilingkod.
That episode will be full of surprises. Till then, this is Rizal Beyond the Monuments.
So welcome back sa Rizal Beyond the Monuments. So sa episode naman na ito, we go into a deeper discuss part of Rizal's life, his exile in Dapitan.
It's often seen as a punishment, pero if you really look closely kasi, Dapitan was also a place where Rizal lived his values quietly through service.
Sobrang interesting. Sa halip na maging bitter, he became better. Tinulungan niya ang mga tao doon sa kalusugan, edukasyon, at maging infrastruktura.
Oo nga. Nagpatayo siya ng paaralan, gumamot ng may sakit, nagturo ng science, agriculture, at morals sa mga bata. Sabi nga ng isang scholar, he turned exile into empowerment.
But while Rizal was in Dapitan, the Katipunan was forming. Bonifacio and others were getting ready for revolution. So, should Rizal have joined them?
So let's open this step, debate time. Should Rizal have taken up arms like the others? Or tama lang na reformist siya?
I think Rizal made the right choice. If he picked up Abolo, yun nga, baka hindi siya naging Rizal. His strength was in awakening minds and not leading armies.
But at the same time, if your people are suffering and a revolution is rising, isn't it your duty to be with them?
Valid point but remember, Rizal did sympathize with the revolution. He just disagreed with how it was being done.
And di rin biro ang ginawa niya. Still paid with his life. He stood trial. He could escape pero pinili niyang bumalik sa Pilipinas.
Now, that brings us to a bigger question. Was Rizal really the right choice as our national hero?
Sabi ng iba, si Rizal ang pinili ng mga Amerikano dahil mas safe siya compared kina Bonifacio o Mabini.
But safe doesn't mean weak. Rizal's ideas were dangerous. They challenged the whole system.
Tsaka think about it Si Rizal, he died for his country, not in battle, but in full awareness of what his death meant. Martyrdom yun eh.
And his legacy is global. He wasn't just a Filipino thinker. He was a citizen of the world, multilingual, educated, rational.
So maybe the problem isn't Rizal. Maybe the problem is only we honor one hero. When in fact, we should remember all of them. Bonifacio, Mabini, Jacinto, even women like Grablea silang.
National identity is complex na eh. Rizal is the face, but the nation has many hearts.
Siguro in the end, Rizal teaches us that change doesn't always come with bloodshed. Minsan, it comes with ideas, books, and kahit small acts of service.
And that's what makes Rizal timeless.
Thank you for joining us in this two-part journey. If you enjoyed this conversation, share it with your classmates, teachers, or anyone who's ever asked, bakit nga ba si Rizal ang ating bayani?
Jose Rizal's early life. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Realonda, also known as Pepe, was a Filipino writer, doctor, and hero. He was born on June 19, 1861, to Francisca Mercado and Teodora Alonso. He came from a rich family and was very smart. At age 3, he learned the alphabet. By age 5, he could read and write. He finished school at Ateneo de Manila at 16 and studied medicine at the University of Santo Tomas. In 1882, he left for Spain to continue his studies and joined the propaganda movement. He was executed at age 35 for fighting peacefully for reforms in the Philippines. Let's move on to Jose Rizal's novels. Rizal wrote novels that showed the unfair treatment of Filipinos under Spanish rule. His famous book No Limentang Garay, 1887, exposed abuses by the Spanish. Its sequel, El Filibusterismo, 1891, continued this message. Both were written in Spanish but are now read in Tagalog and English. Now, Jose Rizal's trial and execution. Rizal was arrested and taken back to Manila from Spain. He was put on trial for first, rebellion. He was accused of helping the revolution. Second, sedition. He was accused of spreading hate against the government. And lastly, illegal association. He was accused of forming band groups even though he said he was innocent and peaceful. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. He was executed, which inspired more Filipinos to fight for freedom. That's all for today, learning about Rizal's life. Thank you for watching.
Rizal's last day. What really happened? Let's rewind to December 30, 1896, 7 a.m. in Bagumbayan, or now we call Luneta. Jose Rizal, the man who wrote No Limentang Garay na El Filibusterismo, is standing before a firing squad. But how did we even get here? Well, the Spanish authorities accused Rizal of rebellion, sedition, and conspiracy. Why? Because of his writings, which exposed their abuses and inspired revolution. He was tried by a military court, super biased, and found guilty. It was basically a setup. But here's the powerful part. Even in his final moments, Rizal stayed calm. He wrote Mi Ultimo Dios, a farewell poem that's still iconic today. And when he was shot, he turned around at the last second. So he'd fall facing the sky as a symbol of dignity and courage.
Consumatum est!
They silenced the man, but not the movement. Rizal's death lit a fire that helped spark a revolution. So what are your thoughts?
Good day, chat. So a quick history recap regarding on Rizal's execution. So what really happened during Rizal's last day? Okay, so it's December 30, 1896, early in the morning. A man in a black coat walks calmly through Bagumbayan, Manila. His name, Dr. Jose Rizal. He's 35, a doctor, a revolutionary, and is about to be executed by the Spanish. But here's the twist. Rizal knew this was coming, and after being falsely accused of rebellion, sedition, and basically everything bad, he was tried in a kangaroo court. Guilty, of course, because truth was a threat. Rizal, standing tall and refusing to be blindfolded, he requested to face his executors. They said no, so instead, he turned his body at the last second, choosing to die facing the sun. Boom! 8 shots, one final blow to the head, but guess what? You can kill a man, but you can kill an idea. So Jose Rizal died, but his death sparked a revolution, and today we remember him not as a victim, but as a hero who chose to die with dignity. That's all, thank you.
Did you know? Rizal showed courage, defiance, and dignity even in his final moments. Before his execution on December 30, 1896, Jose Rizal made a simple but bold request: to face the firing squad. This was a request for a soldier's death, one death of honor. But the authorities denied him and forced him to face away, just like they would do for a traitor. But Rizal didn't accept that label. Although his hands were tied and he was facing the opposite direction, he managed to twist his upper body at the very last second before the bullets hit him. As the bullets struck him, he turned just enough so that he fell facing upward towards the sky. This subtle movement wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. It was Rizal's way of reclaiming his honor and showing that he would face death as a patriot and not a traitor. Even in his last breath, he made a powerful statement without saying a word, just like a true national hero.
Consumatum est!
Kamusta mga kababayan? Kalalabas ko nga lang ako ng aking naialat na libro. Nabasa niyo na ba yung Knowing Me? Meron din akong part 2 ng El Polyp History. Abangan niyo lang ho ha mga kababayan. At
事情两袖清风皱，一阴一阳之谓道，仔细东来。明码标。
A day in the life as a student from PLSU. We're gonna go to Born today. We're gonna drink all night. We're gonna party all night. Let's go.
Ganito ba ang tamang pag-impluensya sa kabataan? Saan sa ang kalokohan natin ginagamit ng mga plataforma? Dapat ay alam natin sa ating mga sarili na kung hindi lumilingon sa pinanggagalingan ay hindi makakarating sa parorokonan. Kaya lagi mong tatandaan ang kabataan, ang pag-asa ng bayan. Kaya tanungin mo ang sarili mo, kasama ka ba sa kabataan na yun? Keep coming from wall to wall. So many look good in here. I just don't know which one I want. Roll my secret, cause I know that she gon' keep up. Ay, salamat sa bulaklak. Anong pangalan nito? Hermano Garcia. Ay, punyeta ka. Hindi pwede ang Espanyol dito, ha? Mga Espanyard, umalis kayo dito.